Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero. Our guest today is Stephen James. He's a singer-songwriter with a silky voice, a sultry style, and from what we can tell so far, a compelling sense of story that he delivers in his songs. He's originally from Rio Vista, California, which is really a sleepy little fishing village where the biggest thing is the annual Crawdad Festival. But when he was coming of age, Stephen heard the islands calling him, and he dipped off to Hawaii with little more than the shirt on his back and a willingness to let the islands borrow and form his soul. For our listeners who know Nico, my son who introduces the show, that's exactly what he did when he bought a one-way ticket to Maui knowing absolutely nobody there. It's a spirit of adventure we love, and we love Stephen for embodying it too. But eventually, the need to get his songs out brought him back to Los Angeles. Anyway, Pete and I had the privilege of covering the NAMMShow last month. For the uninitiated, it's the trade show hosted by the National Association of Music Merchants in Anaheim, California, and it draws well over 100,000 participants from all facets of the music industry. It's where manufacturers bring out their sexiest gear, demonstrated by some of the most renowned players in the business. You walk into some mind-blowing music the entire time. That all sounds amazing, and it really is, but it's also 5 days long, and every day goes well into the night because it's the music business. After a while, even the most amazing performances can get lost in the shuffle. Somehow, Stephen James, a relative unknown in all that mix, made a whole lot of industry professionals stop what they were doing and take notice. Not easy to do, but he pulled it off singing a song that he'll release this spring called Don't Make the Bed. He's a great guy. We think you're going to love him. He's our guest today, Stephen James.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Cruz.
This is Bryce Vine.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This
East.
is Sebastian Younger.
This is Daryl.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summit.
This is Dr. Bob Greenberg.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hey everybody, this is Stephen James. Check out my single Runaway on Spotify, and you're listening to The Break It Down Show.
And now, The Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
Yeah, we got Stephen James in the house. John and I were at NAMM. Thanks to NAMM for having us there at the NAMM show, which is, you guys, if you're in the music industry, you all know. But we were, Stephen and I and John were all in the same area. But you were locked up in a shipping container turned into a musical studio. And we were there to get a little bite for lunch. Mm-hmm. And we had to stop the traffic and see what this guy was doing because of the soul pouring out of you and the love. And you were singing a song about, let me make the bed, baby. Don't make the bed. Don't make the bed. Don't make the bed. We're just going to mess it up again.
Don't make the bed. Don't make the bed. Let me tell you what I want to do instead. Don't make the bed. Don't make the bed. So we're going to mess it all up. We're going to promise you love.
Yeah. We're all about love here on this show. Mm-hmm. And John and I especially always want any act that can get everybody in the room laid is our kind of act, you know? And so you were nailing that down. So I grabbed business cards. I went behind the container. I didn't even try to like big time it into the security area. I'm like, just give him my card and let him know we'd love to have him on the show because, yeah, we've had people that have won multiple Grammys on the show, but more importantly, we also talk to people that are emerging, that are figuring it out because it's being on the ride is just as fascinating as a person who can look back at the ride. Mm-hmm. So you were doing it. I mean, you're writing songs. You're about to put an album out. The singles you have out are all incredible. It was fantastic getting to listen to what you do. You can hear all the influences. Like I hear some Coldplay in there. Mm-hmm. Who else did we hear? Oh, by the way, Phil is co-hosting with me today. So who else did we hear in there?
There's a little Hosier in there as well.
Hosier. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Alan Stone a little bit, with the soulfulness, Mm-hmm. and kind of you got singing a similar register. I hope you think those are compliments.
I definitely do.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
How would you specify your genre, like your home genre? Yeah, like you cross a lot of bounds, but what would you say?
I would say it's more like alternative pop soul.
Okay.
So, for example, like I love Coldplay, as you know, and I use Coldplay as an influence for a lot of my writing. And then I like folk music as well, like Damien Rice, Ray LaMontagne, all those guys, like Amos Lee, And then I am actually a fan of a lot of pop music as well. Like from the early 2000s, when John Mayer came out, I was like, oh my God, he's my idol. Like I want to try and be like that guy. And I never had mapped him on guitar, but from trying to imitate these people, I sort of found my own channel and own sort of subgenre. So I just call it alt pop soul. Because anything that you can't pick a label for, you just call it alternative anyway. You're like, not rock, not soul, not R&B, not pop. What is it? Oh, we're just going to make it alternative,
Yeah, I had a hard time when I listened to the couple tracks. I had a hard time placing you in a category.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And for my personal choices in music, I don't like things that are where you can put boundaries around it. I couldn't put any boundaries around you and your music, and I thought that was fantastic because that allows you to be not influenced or constrained. You can kind of go where you want to go and find your own audience that way. And I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's just all about with me, I love to take all the artists I love and just in a way not copy them, but more like try to honor them and be like, okay, I love that song. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to take what I can and then flip it in my own way. It's like a great painter, would look at something and then they would just be taken so, aback from it. And they would use it not to copy it and to imitate it, but they would take all the detail and they would take the influence and they would take the passion and the inspiration and they would use it to grow as an artist themselves and to make something memorable. And that's all I'm trying to do here,
Let's get back to the John Mayer thing. So was it more that you wanted to play guitar like him, or was it the other things that came along with being John Mayer that he's well known for?
When he came out, I had no idea what his life was like. It was all about the music. It was all about mainly his guitar playing at first. I wasn't trying to be like him, like a vocalist, because he had kind of like a half talking, half singing kind of thing, which worked really well for him, obviously, because his first album was, a Grammy winner, right? But for me, I wanted to sing and I wanted to like embellish in the voice more. So it was like I was trying to get down those guitar tapping things, like when he came out with The Room for Squares, you know what I mean? And I got it, but it was like in my own flavor. I'm like, okay, I'll never be like John Mayer, and I don't care. Like I want to take my love for John Mayer and everything he's done and to turn it into my own thing.
Yeah, as an emerging artist, you're trying to figure out your voice. You know what your voice, you want it to be. Okay, so it's not John Mayer. You can push that out, be inspired, but like that's just not my voice.
Yeah.
And as close as you might be to Alan Stone from my point of view, you're not Alan Stone either. You've got a different vibe to you. He's more Stevie Wonder-ish. I don't get that vibe from you necessarily. So what have you figured out that maybe you're not or that you are as you kind of really get to the essence?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm the best at everything. I don't think I'm the best, vocalist. I don't think I'm the best musician per se. I don't think I'm the best, lyricist. But where I do have to pat myself in the back is I can take all of those and put it together and make something beautiful.
Gotta catch her, run away from something like me. Gotta go run away.
And I can use all of those things that I am really good at. I'm not the best at, and I can make something great, something that is timeless and something that'll last. And I do believe that's where, my greatness comes in, is combining all those things in a smart way. not working harder, but working smarter.
Yeah, and your point to, I'm listening to you, and I'm envisioning you as kind of you're the chef in the kitchen, and you're taking all these ingredients that helped you develop a palate, and that could be John Mayer, that could be Coldplay, that could be Amos, it could be all these influences that you have, and then you're taking those ingredients and you're creating this masterpiece cuisine in the kitchen that is, even though it has flavors of John Mayer, it might have some of this. Those flavors are creating your own dish, your own meal, and it's a beautiful meal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I look at writing a song, like composing a song, a lot like cooking a great meal. You have to have the texture. You got to have the flavors. You have to have a little spice, a little sweet. Like, to make an amazing dish, you got to have all these things to sort of play with the palate. And in music, you have all these little details. You have the crunch of the amplifier. You have that smoothness of the voice. You have that pretty little, you have the sprinkle of the background harmony. You have the beat of the drum, which is the meat and potatoes, maybe the heavy stuff on the bottom. So all of those things, when you get them right, and it gives you chills, it makes the hairs on your back stand up. Gives you goosebumps. That's the important thing. It doesn't matter if you're able to do, if you're able to play a guitar like Paul Gilbert or Steve Vai. It's all about bringing something to life, and I think that's what I appreciated most about my influences. Like Coldplay, for example, they know they're not the best in the world at, their particular instrument. But when they come together, they're unbeatable.
You call drums meat and potatoes. But for right now, you don't like meat and potatoes very much. You want a cross stick and then a kick. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Uh-huh.
That's where you're at. Talk to me about that choice.
Okay. Well, for me, I like to keep things. It just all depends on the song again.
For sure.
But usually, I like to keep things more open.
Yeah.
For the voice, because I think the most important part of a song is the voice. If the voice can't be heard, if the voice is not, developed and cared for, and supported by the rest of the band and the arrangement, then a song is never going to quite come to life.
Yeah.
And that's my whole logic behind it. Start with, maybe I have a boom, just a little side stick at first, but maybe as it develops over time, we find out, maybe we can go bigger with this, just as long as it doesn't just overcrowd the voice.
Yeah. So who was the drummer that you had with you at the NAMMShow when we watched?
His name is Les Cleveland.
So we watched, and this was everything put together, right? Like your whole orchestrated thing. That's fantastic. The best moment for me was watching, and you guys hadn't played before. It was the first time he'd sat in with you, and he was going, and he had the vibe, and then you were doing your last song, and he leaned in to grab something from the drum kit, and then just sat back. Didn't touch a thing. I looked at John, he looked at me, we were like, wow, that was awesome. Because he knew that wherever you were going, he made that choice as a drummer to go, nope. And so he got that.
Yeah.
How did you communicate that to him? Is it part verbal? Is it the vibe? How does he know to pull those sticks back from that drum and never touch a thing?
He knew.
How?
Just knew.
How?
I don't know.
Come on.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of he knew the song, and it was energy. It was energy. It was the vibe in the room. And the vibe in the room was really, it was really quite nice. Not having played with, my buddy Tay, who he was on the drum machine and the keyboard. We've never played live before, but we worked together, you know. And then Les, having never met him, but all of us know each other. Like Les felt comfortable with Jeff, who played the bass, because they've known each other and played with each other for a long time. So I think that helped as well. And maybe behind my back, Jeff was maybe giving them a look like, here's the cue, you know, because I'm like trying to.
You're doing your job.
I'm trying to do my thing, you know, and just kind of trusting the band is going to know what to do.
And let me set the stage for the audience so they can understand. You literally are in a shipping container with the side peeled off and a sound room put into that. So you guys are like in a rat cage almost. And then...
Or in a fishbowl.
Yeah, fishbowl, right?
A fish tank, yeah.
Surrounded by thousands of people, all at food trucks. So they're eating tacos, they're eating poke, they're eating... So you're sort of got this passive audience. And I watched, and the other acts are all great. And I'm not trying to say anything disparaging about them. But what I noticed was that you got people out of their poke bowl and looking at you. And again, it's that energy. There's something. That's what made me grab my business card and go behind the Connex, was to go, hey, this is something a little bit different. And the other guys were all great. Everybody's super talented. I mean, they wouldn't be there if they weren't. But I noticed that you were communicating with the audience despite the plexiglass barrier. And you're facing us, but there was something more going on.
Yeah.
Is that common for you?
Common?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't at first.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but I have to say, if I can get people to look up from their poke bowl, that's a pretty big compliment, because I love poke. I lived in Hawaii. I'm a huge poke fan, you know. I know great poke when I get it. And so that probably is the best compliment anyone has ever said.
Did you notice that, though?
I didn't, honestly.
Can you see they're right in front of you. Obviously, you see them, but can you actually recognize anything going on? Or was that wall enough that you were separate? Because you sing a lot with your eyes basically closed, too, a lot of times. It looked like.
Yeah, about like half the time. They're just like,
because you're in the groove.
Closed. I'm trying to focus on, you know, the music and trying to pour out my heart in the purest way possible, right?
Yeah.
But, to go back to your question, is it common? I mean, I think it depends on, you know, the location too, and like who I'm with, and like how I feel too. Because if I'm not killing it, then like obviously the energy I put out is not gonna turn heads and, you know, lift people up from their pokeball. But you know, that day there was an energy, and it just felt really beautiful, and the song I was doing just flowed out so beautifully. And so I think if you have a great song, if you have great music combined with a great vibe coming from you and your band, I think people are going to stop no matter what, even if it isn't their particular flavor. Like, you know, I noticed some people out there in the audience who I would probably never expect to come to one of my shows, but they stopped and they listened and they appreciated.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, I guess I'm noticing more and more, you know, the better I get, that people are just starting to kind of stop and listen and take it all in.
So you mentioned the better you get. So where did this journey start? And like, when did you first, you know, you mentioned John Mayer and you wanted to play the guitar like him. So when did this journey for you start, where you're like, I want to do that, pick up a guitar, and then start singing and start writing music?
Yeah. Well, when my older brother years ago wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and my dad got him a rental, he quit after like 2 weeks. And then I took it up, and I found I love the guitar. And I've always been into music, and I think I've always had like a natural love and ability just to do it, just to understand it. How some people just understand certain things just naturally because it's a part of their DNA makeup. And when I was about 15, I picked up the guitar for the first time, and I just enjoyed it. And I started from there. But I didn't want to be a musician per se. The only one who's a musician in my family was my grandfather, and he played like, you know, saxophone and all kinds of stuff. But he kind of kept it to himself. He didn't teach anyone, you know, how to play. And I wish he would have years ago, because I don't know. I feel like that would be something I would do for my kids and grandchildren, you know. But yeah, I didn't want to be a musician at that point. I just knew I liked to play. And then my friend Corey, one of my best friends for a long time, he started learning at that same time. So he and I would like teach each other, you know, how to play different things, and we'd go back and forth. He'd be better, I would be better. He'd be better, I'd be better. And then we got a band together in high school. I wrote a couple songs. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I loved to play. It wasn't until I came to LA in my very, very early 20s that I was like, oh, music is something I need to be doing. Like, I feel called to do this. And then from then, I just started writing songs, and I just never stopped.
Let's go back to before LA became a thing. You're from a little town called Rio Vista.
Rio Vista, yeah.
Which is 20 minutes from Benicia, where I grew up.
Hometown,
yeah. I mean, like, you're just down like, you guys are in the Delta. We're at when the Delta turns into a river again.
Right.
So it's not, we played you guys in high school and everything. So it's not far away. Mm-hmm. And I love my hometown. But for the most part, nobody really cares that I do this incredible thing here in LA. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't quite get it. Now, a lot of people do. A lot of people listen, and there's a lot of folks. I love everybody in Benicia. But where they should be, because they're my people, and where they are, nowhere near each other, right? So I've got to go out and I've got to find people that get me in terms of the podcast. They're in Temecula, they're in Toronto, they're in, you know, Ventura County, but they're also in Japan. There's a dude in Australia. It turns out there's a guy in South Africa that listens all the time. I never would have known these things, right? Yeah. So first question is do people in Rio Vista understand that this is your job and this is what you're called to do and need to do? And then two, what is it like trying to figure out where the other Stephen Jameses are in the world who get you, right? Because you're on SoundCloud, you know, you're on Spotify, and granted, it's a limited catalog, but you're about to put out an album. Mm. So talk about finding your audience after you talk about home. Mm-hmm. So do people in Rio Vista get it, that this is what you do and that you're really good at it?
Yeah, well, I think it depends. Uh-huh. You know, like all my neighbors, like, you know, my mom is my number one fan. And she's always been honest. Yeah. So when I started writing songs years ago, she would be like, oh, I like that song. Oh, you need to work on that. Oh, you need to work on your voice. Oh, you need to, you know. Yeah. She's never just going to let me, you know.
Good.
So I can make a fool out of myself.
Yeah. No participation trophy for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You get the kick in the balls
she could be the DVD commentator. Right. You know. But, yeah, like my mom, I remember to go a little off topic. Yeah. Like my mom would be watching American Idol, for example, and she would just be like, oh my God, those people like are just terrible. How can their family let them do that? Yeah. Make a fool out of themselves, you know? And my mom would never let any of her family just do that, right? Her friends are like, oh, you know, how's you doing? Like, they're all about it, and they love it, and they want to hear the music, and they're, like, on board with everything. Yeah. And in my small town, as you know, a small town, everybody knows everybody, right? Yeah. Not everybody likes everybody, but everyone's nice to everybody. I think some people do, some people don't, but the ones who do are like, yeah! Years ago when I was living in the Bay Area, like, I was an extra in the movie Milk. Okay. And I was there for like a minute, like during that scene where Harvey Milk is giving a speech outside by the Capitol building. No, the mayor's office, I think it was. And I'm there like with my shirt off and really, you know, high shorts, you know, up to my crotch and like these, you know, boots, and they were making me look like that. Yeah. Right. And everyone saw me, and everyone was like blown away that I was visible in a movie, even though I didn't have a speaking part
Yeah.
or anything. And then when that scene was on at the Academy Awards in 2008,
Yeah.
people were like hitting me up on my phone and email and stuff and be like, "Oh my God, I saw you on TV." And I'm like, to me, it's like, oh, but that was just a background role.
Yeah.
Like, no, like I'm trying to do greater things, but
Yeah.
they love that stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
no one in small towns are doing any of that kind of stuff. So the ones who dig it are like number one supporters. You
Yeah.
know, they're donating. When I go back and like I do a show at home, like they give me cash and
Yeah.
you know, and be like, "Oh, good luck. Here's you know."
When you
the
go back
record."
next time, let me know. We're going to get you booked in Benicia too,
Oh,
because
that'd be
you
cool.
would kill. The Luca's got this little beer garden area, perfect for you. And they
Ooh,
got these
beer garden.
people,
I love
and
that.
everybody there is dancing, and you got like all these people that are ready to, they're your kind of crowd. They're like, yeah,
I love that.
let's get real
I love
sexy.
that. Like
Yeah,
a
it's
stick,
good.
whole band, both.
Yeah, whatever. It's you could
Cool.
what you do would play well there. It would be really good. So yeah, let's make sure we get that happening because you may as well make some money.
May as well.
Finding your audience now.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about that? What do you know? What's happening?
Man,
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero, co-host of the Break It Down Show and fellow producer here at Lions Rock Productions. And I'm proud to announce our newest show. It's called Justice. Season 1 is going to be a deep dive into some of the cases I personally worked on as a licensed private investigator, and you'll get a unique view into the criminal justice system that may just challenge some of your personal notions about how it should work and open your eyes in ways you never imagined. So keep your ears open for Justice, a brand new podcast from Lions Rock Productions to iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
What have you learned about that? What do you know? What's happening?
man, it took a long time to like learn how to get a reaction. Per se. I was reading an article about by a guy. He goes by the name Mixer Man, and he writes like articles for Music Connection and stuff. And I was reading one of them last night about how to. He was writing an article about how to make a killer record in your home studio. And I was reading, and he was like, don't focus on the gear. Don't focus on trying to be like the best guitar player on the planet. Don't focus on, these things. Focus on making a great song, but more importantly, getting a reaction. Because a hit song is not technically, it doesn't have to do with it's the best quality. It's, the best lyrics or, the best song on the planet. It's the song that will elicit a reaction from people that will last, So it took me a while to get to that point where people are like, whoa, like they're noticing and they're paying attention and they're following and they're coming to my shows and they're coming back to my shows,
Yeah.
And I was a part of starting a thing called Afro House, which I'm going to shout out to my homies right now, the Afro House tribe. And we started that a year and a half ago. We would do shows once a month, and then it was once every other week. And we noticed, like, we're doing something right as a group because people are coming, and they're coming back, and they're coming back, and they're coming back. And we sold out a ton of shows here in LA. And I really feel like, honestly, when I did that, I learned how to stay relevant in a way, I learned how to put on a great solo show, and I learned how to capture an audience, not just with a voice, but also with like personality and with just like performing. And, it taught me, make your music second nature so you can be yourself. And the audience appreciates that so much. And so once I learned how to do that, they started to react. And then from there, when I do a show now, people show up and it's freaking amazing, And so it's only up from here.
When you do a show here in LA, what venues are you doing? What's the frequency that you're doing it so that you can build this audience and people that are following you and your music?
So right now, I'm doing a thing called Soul in the City. So it's like the TV show Sex in the City, but Soul in the City. And you can follow that at soulinthecity.live. You know, the whole idea behind that is to kind of make a platform for myself and the people I believe in, sort of perform for an audience and to get the beautiful stuff out there. And just to always have an audience, too. And so we do those in houses and stuff. And so the last one I did it my last place over in Mid-City. And then before that, I was at my girlfriend's other house, old house in Venice. And it was just incredible. Like, we got anywhere between 50 and like 125 people, like, packing into a house, you know, to see some live, intimate music. And they stay and they're with you the whole time. And we just, like, you know, drink wine and, you know, we just love on each other, you know what I mean? And it's just a beautiful thing. And so I've been doing that. And those are more like pop-ups. So it's not every 2 weeks or every month. It's more like, okay, we have a venue, let's do it. Let's just make the best possible event.
And so do you sell tickets to that? How does that all work? And then if you have 150 people coming to somebody's house,
yeah,
like how do you manage all the parking?
Yeah.
You know, there's crowd control. Like I'm thinking, I got perfect. You can come to my house. I got this perfect stage that's built above my pool.
Oh, that's amazing. We're gonna have to do the next one at your house, man.
Done.
Right. But then I'm like going, okay, logistically, where would everybody park and you know that sort of thing? And do you sell tickets and things like that?
Yeah. Well, here basically, I mean, you know, we've gotten lucky. When I lived in Mid-City, it was, you know, there's a lot of parking in the street. And then over in Venice, I mean, they just were able to find parking and just, I mean, if you really want to go to a show, you make it happen. Like you eventually find a spot, even if it's a couple blocks away. And so in LA, like, no matter where you go, 95% of the time, you're going to have to drive around the block, you know.
Twice.
Per se. Twice.
3 times.
3 times at least to find some parking. But everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And then as for tickets, usually we've made the first 3-4 shows free, you know, to get the word out there, just, you know, to bring everybody in, and then BYOB. It's always BYOB, because I don't want to have to deal with getting a liquor license. I mean, when the show is just, you know, just an independent show. So I don't sell alcohol. I don't do any of that. Tickets are usually, now it's like a donation based. So if you go to my Instagram, which is Stephen James LA, Stephen James with the PH, you can find the link to the next show in my bio. I'm always posting it in my IG story. And then you go from that link, you go in your RSVP. And if it's a donation, you put down, you know, whatever you want. And then, you know, you just come and have a good time. My priority is to never get lost in the money. I always want to make sure that the soul and the essence stays pure, you know, in what we're doing, because it's way too easy for something to take off and become successful, and then you're like, oh, now we can monetize it, and then the whole energy changes. Yeah, you know. It kind of becomes more, I don't know, it becomes weirder in a way. You know, it's like when I went to Coachella in 2008, it was amazing. Yeah. Now it's even bigger, but it's strange. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. People end up calling it Coachella. Yeah. It's just about a bunch of, you know, college people just going to a music festival and doing drugs and stuff. So... But, I mean, times change. You can't save the purity of everything forever, right?
Yeah, and certain things have to evolve into something. It's always morphing, right? Something like Coachella. Look, at Lollapalooza used to be a multi-city thing. Yeah. And then it found out that it needed to be in Chicago. And, you know, it's become something different completely over time. Yeah. What does your mom worry about with you out here in L.A., living your rock and roll lifestyle?
My mom just wants me to be happy. Yeah. You know, I've gone through so many changes, ups and downs, and they just, want me to be successful, most of all, to just have a roof over my head and, to be doing what I love.
Yeah.
My mom stopped worrying after I moved to Hawaii and sort of just went on a spiritual journey and told her I'm sleeping by churches and on the beach and stuff and playing music on the street and Italian cafes for money, And she's just like, all right, well, call me every once in a while, She's sort of like giving up on trying to make sure I'm a, normal, quote unquote, contributing member of society and sort of trying to let me find my own way.
So was that Hawaii venture, was that between moving to LA from the Bay Area to LA, or where was that chapter, that Hawaii chapter of your life?
Yeah, the Hawaii part was, I came back to LA. I was here for like 2 years at the time. And then I was like, man, I'm tired of the grind, man. I'm tired of like having to just, sleeping on the couch. I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to save money to put on my next big show and, and then do recordings and it's just, as an artist, it's hard. And I'm just like, I don't want to be a part of the grind right now. I want to go, and I've always wanted to live in Hawaii. So, it was a thing, and one day I'm chilling in the house I'm living at, and it was all my friends, and it was a fun house. And I'm on my laptop, and I'm just like, I'm looking at plane tickets, I got London, and I got Hawaii, and I got just over $1,000 in my account. I'm like, London, a one-way ticket to London is $900. Yeah. I would go there in September, and then I would be freezing in about a month with $100. What am I going to do? Okay, I don't want to die. That's not my not what I'm trying to do. And then I looked at Hawaii, and it was like $125 one way. Yeah. Or something like that in the fall. So September 17th, 2012, I left to Hawaii. And I was only supposed to go there until the end of the year. Yeah. I want to get away. I want to have a spiritual journey, swim in the ocean, play music, And I ended up staying for like a year. Yeah. Yeah. And then I had this whole huge, beautiful adventure. And then I came back, a completely different dude. And that was very important to me as an artist as well. And then I wrote some great songs, a couple that are going to be on the album. Nice. Coming out. But yeah, Hawaii was it was like, what do you call it? It was an interlude kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a detour because the detour is like... Yeah, you had to be there. Yeah, because the detour is like, you're trying to get from A to D, but now because of traffic and because of whatever reason, you got to detour and then go to D, go to E, you go to G,
Well, first you had to, and this is very timely in our world, but first you had to figure out, could you make that leap? And London was too long of a leap. $100 in your pockets, you're like, that's, and there's people that do that. They're like, I have jeans and I have a plane ticket. And then they jump, but you're like, no, this makes more sense. And you didn't have a big net, but you had a little bit of a net.
I had a little bit.
Couple $100. So John, who was out in NAMM, his son Nico just did what you did. He just bought a one-way ticket, and on January 13th, I think it was, whatever that Sunday was, he's like, I don't have a place to stay. I don't have a job. I got a little bit of savings, and I'm going. And he's doing it right now. He's doing what you did, and we don't know what he's got. And he's fine. He's got a great work ethic, and we all know he's going to be good. We're all nervous, but he's got it under control. But he has to make this step to figure out what that next leap is going to be. For you, it's LA and going, I'm really going to do this. I have to. Yeah, right? Yeah. You've at some point in that process, you figured out, I have to do this. I have these beautiful songs, and I can't go sit in a cubicle the rest of my life and wonder, if I should have pushed these songs further. Because it's one thing to write one beautiful song, but if you can write 10, and if you can write another, and if you can just keep on, and the songs keep coming, there's going to be some garbage songs, but now you've got 150 songs written, and within that, you've got some quality work that turn into new ideas, that turn into another.
Oh yeah.
So that first leap is a powerful thing. Do you feel like you have another big leap coming then, or are you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm virtually unknown.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's that. Yeah.
It's only up from here. I can't fall down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's another huge leap coming. I don't know when it's going to be, but I feel it is coming, man. And when it is, I think it will take me to London. And I've already been there, and like I've done shows and I've met the people, and I just always had a thing about, okay, London, I feel like me and London can really go together.
You guys got some business to do. Okay.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I mean, my girlfriend is from London.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, that's no accident there.
Yeah. Plus, we know Wes Maybe, and he is a sound engineer in London. So once you get there, his name is Wes Maybe. He's been on the show.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. So now you have someone in the industry that knows how to twist knobs and can get you at least connected to people out there. See, you've got a network you didn't even realize you even had yet. Like, it's getting bigger.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, that was just what I, think right now, because I love London. I love the culture. I love the place. Honestly, I don't know where it's going to be, but I know something is happening, because you can't be living your gift and living this life passion that makes you incredibly happy and be great at it and fail. Something has to happen. If you keep going, something has to happen. And so I'm just like, all right, well, in the meantime, I'm just going to chill at my house in Venice, and you know what I'm saying? I'm going to work on my studio in the back. I got a garage back there that I'm building.
Yeah.
New home studio. And then, I'm just going to, you know what I mean? Take my jog down to the beach,
Yeah.
Write songs, do shows, build my life, and become a better human being. And then by the time, that wave hits me, I'll be ready to surf it,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'm interpreting what you're saying in your interlude in Hawaii as something that you needed. So everybody's everyday life, we get so consumed with, I got to get this done, I got to get this done, I got to get this done. There's no room for creativity. And I see your trip to Hawaii, your interlude, as a way for you to step back and let your creativity take over, as opposed to worrying about that day-to-day stuff that was prohibiting you from being the artist you want to be.
Yeah.
So I think that helped you get to your next level. And then now you're at a place where you got your studio in the back, you're comfortable here. Now you can relax again, put out your album, and then, all right, let's figure out what's next and let that creativity come back in again, and not have to worry about, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, right? Because then it'll squash that creativity and restrict you as an artist. So I commend you on the bravery to make that leap to Hawaii, so that you could find yourself and your soul and bring it back and record it. So speaking of the new album, where did you record that? You were looking at, you have a home studio in the back, but this new album's coming out. How did you record it?
Yeah.
When's it coming out? And let's get into some details about that.
All right. Well, I actually recorded a lot of it in my other home studio in my other apartment when I lived in Mid-City. And it was in my bedroom. I just made a vocal booth out of, duvets and like wall foam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Looking at a couple YouTube videos online on how to do it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the modern day, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did a lot of it in there. Then I also worked with an amazing producer. His name is Eric Rico. I got to shout him out because he is a beast.
What up, Eric?
And yeah, he plays like 11 instruments and he's just amazing. He worked with so many admirable artist, particularly in the hip hop genre, like back in the 90s and early 2000s as well. And like, so I got really lucky because I was doing a mundane job I hated, and then I ran into this guy. His name is Nathan Ambach, and he's from Belgium. He lived in Belgium and South Africa, actually. He'd be a great guy to interview because he's an amazing soul singer, songwriter.
Okay.
Anyway, and then he and I became friends, and we just, we vibed out. And then he linked me up with Rico, and then it was just from there. I was like, okay, I want to do a couple songs, and they turned out so well. I was like, yo, let's just do a whole EP.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm game. And so he's actually based in Austin, Texas, and then in the Baja, Mexico as well. So we have actually never met. I don't know what it is about me and vibing with people who I've never met, but it just goes to show that musicians are magicians in a way.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying. It's like a hat trick, man. It's like somehow musicians are able to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Yeah. And it's just incredible what they can do. Like a great musician knows how to listen. And that is the most important thing. Like a good musician can play parts really well, but a great musician knows how to listen and knows how to jump into the vibe and become a part of that flow. Just like Les at the show. Yeah. But so me and Rico have been working for 2 years, man, and we've done 8 songs, and they're beautiful. And now they're in the process of getting mixed and mastered. And I've done a lot of the editing at my place. And then from there, I plan to release it in spring.
8 songs, 10 songs? How many? 8. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna tour it, the album?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan. Just put it out there and then let the flow take hold,
Once you drop the album, where are you gonna drop it on Spotify or?
Oh, it'll be on all the platforms.
Okay, everything. And then how do people support you? Because there's a lot of, Phil and I both already want to support you. I'm going to connect you with Wes, and he's got his backyard and that kind of thing. How do people find and support you and what you're doing? You throw money at you for an album. Yeah. How do they do that?
Okay. So go to my Instagram page, follow, because that is where I'm going to be putting everything. Because it's the easiest. People look at it, the most, and it's the most fun. Okay. So go to the IG. Everything will be there.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Go to the IG. Stephen, Stephen James, LA. Okay. Stephen James _LA. Yeah. Everything will be on there. And then I have a single, Runaway, that's out now. Check it out on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube. Stephen James, Runaway. And you got to be careful. There are a few Stephen Jameses out there because apparently having, 2 first names as a name is kind of common. But it's actually my middle name. James is my middle name. Okay. My last name, I didn't want to go by that. But, so Stephen James, LA. Go there, follow, check it out. And then all the upcoming shows, the album, the tour, all the happenings are going to be there, right there.
Okay, cool. And when are you going to drop Don't Make the Bed? We're not going to play it, but
the bed.
Yeah, that song is so good.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, there's a thing about that song that just every time I play it, people start singing along. And the second chorus, if they've never heard it, they start singing it. And the first, if they have heard it before. But it just has resonated with so many people, which is really interesting because it was just one of those songs I was like, oh, man, this is funny. Don't Make the Bed. It's about, getting busy in the morning.
Oh, I thought it was about sleeping in and being lazy.
Yeah.
That's the get your face out of the poke bowl and pay attention song.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And it's such, I can't wait for it to come out for folks to hear it, because you do have that thing where you have that hook where you just want to say, don't make the bed, and you sing that part. It does. And that's what you need, right? You need 100 more of those songs, but like if you have that, if you can continue to find those things that people just are compelled, you can't help yourself. You stop, you stand up, and you go, wait, what's this? That's good. That's a big deal, man.
Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah. That'll be out like in a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
In a couple months. It's getting mixed. It's all done. Production, everything is all done. It's getting mixed and then mastered. And then I'm going to, and then my team and I are coming up with a plan.
Okay.
And then we're going to launch it, man. We're going to launch it, and we're going to see what happens.
So you guys got to go out and support Stephen James, Stephen James _LA on Instagram. That's the best place to get him. If you can't find him, if you find the porn star or the guy that has cooking books, then let me know. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But hit me up. You can find me easily, Pete A. Turner, anywhere. Phil is PJ Green pretty much everywhere. Is that right?
At PJ Green.
Yeah, at PJ Green. So if you can't find Stephen, let us know. If you want to come hang out with us when we go see Stephen live when he's touring his album, let us know. This will be up for a while, so don't feel like you've missed out on the boat. Stephen's incredible, man. Really, seriously. I love what you're doing. I love where you're at. I can't wait to see. And you're right. The more of this hard work you put in, the more you're putting your craft in front of everything else, the more it's going to develop, be recognized, and become, something incredible. And I just know you're on your way, and it's exciting to see.
Thank you.
I can't wait till I can say, see you on TV and tell my friends that are in the room, hey, he played my backyard once.
Yeah. You see that guy that Sean Penn's...
Oh, it's going to be a serious...
All right. Sounds good.
You see that guy that Sean Penn's cheering for? Yeah, the roles are reversed now. He's the star. But yeah, thanks, man, for coming on.